I really like this picture. Very professional picture. Beautiful little kid. And this kid had his whole life ahead of him. And the thing is this baby's life was cut short by his father. So really sad story. Now the details are a bit graphic. And I'm just asking people, and I've been asking this for 6 years now, going on 7 years. If you understand that this channel is going to talk about some graphic details and I'm going to have some graphic opinions, I thought I give people very clear disclaimers. This might not be the channel for you if you have thin skin. You could just exit the channel. You don't have to subscribe. For everybody else who wants to hear the true story and my opinion, then this is the right channel for you. But let me give you a disclaimer like I do every time. Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, news web articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. And I'm getting this story from people.com, so if they're listening, thank you for this article. A 1-year-old California boy is being remembered as a kind and playful, joyful soul after his father has been accused of beheading him. How do we get to that is just beyond me. Like, it's just you think about all the things that we've heard of on this channel, and that's got to be one of the worst ones. Like, that's just really, really horrible. Now, on Friday, December the 20th, so this is literally just days before Christmas Day, the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office, SCSO, said in a press release shared on Facebook that Andre Deminsky, who looks demented, that fool, was arrested around 4:15 a.m. local time that morning following a 911 call about a family disturbance, quote unquote. SCSO North Patrol deputies responded, and Deminsky, who's 28 years old, was accused by his wife of assaulting her and her mother, according to police. After Deminsky refused to answer the door and surrender peacefully, authorities learned that a toddler was alone in the residence with this man. So I think you guys kind of see where this is going. It's inexcusable, and it's really heartbreaking. They wrote that the father had possibly injured the child after throwing him. SCSO deputies then forced entered the home, they said. Once inside, police discovered the uncooperative and physically resistive Deminsky, the father of this little boy, as well as the severed head of a child in a bedroom. And I know that is not what y'all want to hear in this holiday season. But again, I want y'all to remember that we don't ever need to forget about these children, and we don't ever need to act like this didn't happen. These babies need voices. We need advocates. We need justice. And just because we might be enjoying our family, this might be the time to hold on to your family a little bit tighter. Love them a little bit more. Respect them a little bit more. Be a lot more understanding. And love each other more. We should never, ever get to this point. I don't give a damn what he was going through. And you look at this beautiful, precious baby. This baby did absolutely nothing to deserve this whatsoever. That's how they discovered this child. The sheriff's child abuse bureau detectives as well as crime scene investigators then arrived at the scene. Still a little bit sick, so y'all bear with me. Now, according to authorities, Deminsky used a knife to behead and murder the 1-year-old child of his. Detectives arrested and booked him into the Sacramento County main jail where he remains in custody, ineligible for bail. Now, according to his jail records, he has been charged with 3 felonies: assault by means of force likely to produce great bodily injury, corporal injury to a spouse of cohabitant, and murder. His next court appearance is scheduled for December the 24th, which would have been yesterday, depending on when you're watching this. Now, per the Sacramento County Coroner's Office, as Micah Deminsky, who was this little boy, that's Micah. Loved ones have also identified the child by way of a GoFundMe campaign, which you guys can see. I will pull that up for you. Let me see if I can get it up here. Right here. As sad as these stories are, and as much as I want to focus on just this baby's story, I always am wondering how we fail to have life insurance, but we always find these inordinate GoFundMe campaigns. This one is up to the tune of $120,000 GoFundMe. Their reason for this is they say on December the 20th, our sweet boy Micah Deminsky met with the Lord. A devastating chain of events unraveled, causing the death of the 1-year-old son of Angelina Deminsky, who was the mother. That was the mother that was holding the boy. The sweet little boy was they give him a lot of compliments here. If you have it on your heart to help our family in this difficult time, please keep us in your prayers. At this time, Angelina is unemployed and will need to relocate and find a job and get back on her feet. She will also need to be able to support herself along with the child she is carrying. So that means she is currently pregnant with another child, even though this baby is one. So that means as soon as she gave birth, she was literally getting pregnant with another child. So they also say, I am her sister-in-law and I'm setting up the GoFundMe in order to help with funeral arrangements, which more times than none, the state will cover funeral costs when there is a crime involved with children, right? In most states, I believe. But she's saying for funeral arrangements and financially supporting her during this time so that she can grieve. Please consider giving $10, $20, or $30 to help support Angelina in this difficult time. If you're able to help financially, may God bless you threefold. If you're not able to help financially, please pray for Deminsky and Vinikov families. Please share with your family and friends. So here's the thing. If you want to get political, I guess I can be okay with somebody asking for a $120,000 GoFundMe. I guess that's okay considering how much money our country is taking out of our wallets when it comes to our taxpayer dollars and sending it over places to like the Ukraine to the tune of $1 billion and giving our money away to illegal aliens and immigrants and people that don't want to be in this country legally. Don't give a damn about being in this country legally and don't want to speak our language legally. And we just constantly just hand over fist giving them money. You know what? I guess I'm okay with an American. I'm not going to say that this mother is getting over or anything like that with $120,000. I mean, I guess I'm just not going to do that. Right? Y'all agree with what I'm saying? If we want to get political for a second, even if y'all feel like that is a high amount, based on these circumstances, that could be viewed as a high amount. $120,000 is what they're asking for. I always say ask for what you need and let the people donate what they want. Y'all catch that? Let me say it again. Ask for what you absolutely need. Do you need burial money for this boy? We're not sure because the state usually covers for those things. So we're going to assume that you need the help because you asked for it. So if that's the case, fine. Maybe to the tune of about $10,000 would suffice for the mother to get back on her feet. Well, how much money does she need to get back on her feet? Certainly not $110,000. I mean, that's like completely starting a new life, buying a home, and that you could do a lot. You could do a lot with $110,000. And I'm not against that. But I'm just saying that's crowdfunding money. I just think it's interesting. Anyway, the Sacramento County Coroner's Office did not immediately respond to people for requests for confirmation on December the 22nd. Now, amid Deminsky's arrest, the dad, his mother-in-law was transported to the hospital by ambulance for her injuries, which are non-life-threatening. Amar Gandhi, a spokesperson for SCSO, told NBC affiliate KCRA that the alleged beheading was one of the most horrific things he's learned of. He added that authorities were visibly shaken by finding this, and I'm sure that they are. That's why we need to put some more respect on these people who have to investigate these crimes, deal with these things, arrest these people, take pictures. I mean, could you imagine? Like, I wouldn't want to have to do no stuff like that, but somebody absolutely has to, right? In this investigative world, in order to get justice, this is part of it. People have to investigate this. For this family who has to go pick up the pieces and go on, I mean, their world is shattered. So WKYC reported that a memorial has since been made outside of the child's home, featuring flowers, teddy bears, and candles. So I'm glad they didn't say nothing about no balloons. Gandhi told the outlet that he cannot think of a worse call in 20 years and that authorities will have the case in their hearts and minds for the rest of their careers and beyond. The GoFundMe campaign organized by Lily Ezrit said that Micah died following a devastating chain of events. And I read you guys some of that. So again, we want to get justice against this damn fool, this alleged man, this alleged dad. That's who we want to get justice against. So if you guys will, do me a favor, let's get started with these news videos. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. You guys can share this story, hit that thumbs up. You can subscribe to the channel and leave a comment. That helps us out quite a bit. And let me know what you guys think about this. Even if I'm not looking at it the right way, you can post a comment and we can talk about it. All right, here we go.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on this busy Friday before Christmas. I'm Laura Painter.
And I'm Chris Thomas. Today, neighbors in Antelope are shocked after learning the death of a 1-year-old is now being investigated as a homicide.
A 28-year-old man, believed to be the baby's father, is now in custody following a domestic violence call to a home. We do want to warn you, some of the details are disturbing. ABC 10's Roxanne Elias joins us live from where it happened. Roxanne, you just heard from authorities. What are you learning now?
Laura, we just heard from Sergeant Amar Gandhi a few minutes ago. I want to let you know that the details here are very hard to digest. What he told us is when deputies arrived here at the home you see behind me, this yellow one here, they made their way inside and found the baby beheaded, allegedly at the hands of his father. The sheriff's office calls this pure evil. Early Friday morning, yellow crime scene tape surrounded Christmas-decorated homes in a neighborhood in Antelope where a 1-year-old was found dead. The Sacramento County Sheriff's Office says the man believed to be the baby's father, identified as Andriy Dymski, is in custody and the death is being investigated as a homicide.
The first thoughts was just kind of chilling. We have little kids. We live in a neighborhood here. We also have, little kids, and we're just, in our late 20s. And it's crazy. Something like this can happen, like here, it's just a young father, and that's just deranged to us.
Vitali is a father of 3 who lives down the street. Sergeant Amar Gandhi says deputies responded to a call of a family disturbance at the home along Versailles Way shortly after 4 Friday morning. When they arrived, they found a woman outside.
From there, they were able to determine that a domestic violence incident had occurred and the suspect was inside the home. When they went to contact the
I'm going to do this each time that y'all donate. I'm going to stop it and I'm going to shout you guys out so I don't miss it, because I know some of y'all might not stay the entire stream. Let me say thank you to Nikki. Nikki, if you're listening, I see your Cash App. Thank you very much, Nikki. And also thank you to Joanne Quick, who I know is in the chat. If you're listening, thank you very much. And you said Merry Christmas in your message. So if you're listening, thank you very much. And also to Gracie. Gracie said, Merry Christmas, and I love your channel. That's over there on PayPal. So if you're listening, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
suspect, he refused to come out, refused to answer the door.
Deputies decided to force their way into the home once they learned of the 1-year-old inside. The sheriff's office says Dymski began fighting them, but they were able to detain him, later to find the dead baby inside. A heartbreaking scenario to even the most seasoned law enforcement officers.
Deputies that had to discover that and see that, and again, these are human beings that go home every night to families, to their kids, and have to process this. This is something that has shaken them I can't think of a worse call in 20 years.
Dembski was booked on suspicion of murder, corporal injury on a spouse, and assault by means of force likely to produce great bodily injury. Detectives now investigating when the baby was killed, if it happened during or following the domestic violence incident. With days left before Christmas, it's a hard pill to swallow for those who live nearby.
We don't have the police showing up here ever. So to see this whole thing happening this morning is really wild for our neighborhood. It's a very quiet neighborhood. Really decent people live here, so it's shocking.
The father is being held in custody without bail. The sheriff's office now asking neighbors who live here to give them a call if they saw or heard anything that could help them perhaps put together the pieces of this puzzle of what happened here. You can remain anonymous. I'm live in Antelope. Roxanne Elias, ABC 10.
Yeah, Roxanne, honestly, a story that just leaves you speechless. It is heartbreaking, disturbing. We'll be following this ongoing investigation. Keep us posted. Roxanne, thank you. In a case that shocked law enforcement and members of the Slavic community, the Antelope father accused of killing his 1-year-old son appeared in court today. 28-year-old Andrei Dembski faces murder and assault charges, and as ABC 10's Luke Clary reports, the case has even attracted international attention.
It was an incredibly emotional day in court as family and friends packed the courtroom. We saw many people crying, but it was also chilling as Andrei Dembski came into the courtroom wearing that safety vest with what appeared to be a smile. As the doors opened at the Sacramento County Jail, dozens of people filed inside to see the arraignment of Andrei Dembski, the 28-year-old accused of beheading his own son, 1-year-old Micah Dembski, and assaulting his wife and mother-in-law inside his Antelope home on Friday.
I don't have page 1 of the discovery.
His attorney, by Dembski's side as murder and assault charges were read, would not say much about his client's mental state.
He came in the garb that you would see someone wearing who is in the psychiatric facility. He's had a clear, significant mental health issue. We're going to be looking into that. That's really all I can say at the moment.
The Dembski case has gained significant attention in the local Slavic community and even overseas.
A lot of people across California, across the United States, even in Ukraine and Russia heard about this case and thinking what really happened.
According to journalist Ruslan Gurzy, the suspect is believed to be Ukrainian. The brutal nature of the crime, shocking and perplexing.
Loving husband, I heard a lot of good words about this person. Killed his baby just because of what? And nobody knows. There's a lot of rumors.
And what was it like for you to see him in person at this arraignment?
Oh, that was crazy. He smiled. Young person just supposedly killed his baby, 1-year-old baby, and he's smiling, looking at the judge, looking at his lawyer, defender. That was something weird.
Dembski remains in custody tonight without bail.
In a case that shocked law, and Luke, you were at the arraignment this afternoon, right?
Yeah, it was an incredibly emotional scene there for some family members and friends. The courtroom was packed and I saw a number of people crying there, but it was also chilling as Andrei Dembski entered the courtroom in a sleeveless safety vest with what appeared to be a smile.
As the doors opened at the Sacramento County Jail, dozens of people filed inside to see the arraignment of Andrei Dembski, the 28-year-old accused of beheading his own son, 1-year-old Micah Dembski, and assaulting his wife and mother-in-law inside his Antelope home on Friday.
I don't have page 1 of the discovery.
His attorney, by Dembski's side as murder and assault charges were read, would not say much about his client's mental state.
He came in the garb that you would see someone wearing who is in the psychiatric facility. He's had a clear, significant mental health issue. We're going to be looking into that. That's really all I can say at the moment.
The Dembski case has gained significant attention in the local Slavic community and even overseas.
A lot of people across California, across the United States, even in Ukraine and Russia heard about this case and thinking what really happened.
According to journalist Ruslan Gurzy, the suspect is believed to be Ukrainian. The brutal nature of the crime, shocking and perplexing.
Loving husband, I heard a lot of good words about this person. Killed his baby just because of what? And nobody knows. There's a lot of rumors.
And what was it like for you to see him in person at this arraignment?
Oh, that was crazy. He smiled. Young person just supposedly killed his baby, 1-year-old baby, and he's smiling, looking at the judge, looking at his lawyer, defender. That was something weird.
Dembski's family did not want to speak with us. They've asked us for privacy, although they did mention to me that they have a GoFundMe to support Micah's mother, who, according to the fundraiser, is currently unemployed. She's also pregnant.
And I know this might be insensitive for me to say, like they demand privacy. They don't want to be contacted. They don't want to answer questions. They don't want to do interviews, but they want you to send them money. I mean, just me personally, like I say, y'all can say I'm insensitive, and I definitely understand that, and I might admit that I might be a little bit insensitive. But I'm just thinking, you know, maybe take some time away, you know, if you need to deal with this. Like, I definitely understand that. Maybe, you know, both things can be true. Maybe you do need time away and also need funding. Now, why wasn't she working is beyond me. Prior to this, you know what I'm saying? But to sit and let me not harp on that, because I know people get mad at that. They're just like, well, why are you just, all you worried about is to GoFundMe? I'm really not. But here's my thing. I want y'all to understand that most marriages, by way of statistics, end because of finances, right? Most marriages end because of finances. Most arguments start because of finances. And if you think about this, with her having one kid and then on her way to having a second kid, being pregnant with the second kid, knowing how financially strapped that this world is and knowing that there's not a lot of help out there for couples, especially if you're married, y'all get where I'm going with this? I'm going to assume that maybe some of the stress and argument could have been over finances. Right? Was he working? Somebody had to have been working. She wasn't working. But they're asking for a $120,000 GoFundMe. $120,000 GoFundMe is quite a bit more than the average person makes in a year. When we talk about motives, since the family won't talk, the family won't give us a reason, the family won't give us any insight. So therefore, we can maybe see the signs, see something, say something, recognize it, and prevent other babies from being hurt like this. Maybe protect other children. Maybe keep yourself out of these domestic situations, whatever the case is. If people don't know, then we have to assume, right? And I'm going to assume with him only being 28 years old, and again, I believe that men shouldn't be fathers under the age of 30 years old, maybe even 35 years old, because they are financially irresponsible, which I believe that he probably was. He's not financially set to take on 2 kids and a woman and probably a big-ass house, and knowing that inflation in this economy is as bad as it is, right? Most people aren't. That still doesn't give you the right to stress out and just say, fuck the world, and then end your child's life like this. You still can't do that. That still doesn't give you the right. Mental illness, no, I absolutely believe he knew exactly what he was doing, and I just think that he was ready to just give up on life and just throw in the towel and took it out on his kid. Was mad at her, just mad at life, mad at himself, mad for being a failure of a dad. That's what I believe. Either way it goes, you should not have ended the life of this beautiful, innocent baby who could not speak for itself nor defend itself against the tyranny of his own father. It's a beautiful baby, and they look like they could have had a beautiful future together, and we just don't know why it had to end like this. So to the law enforcement, keep them in your prayers. To the coroners, investigators, anybody, the judges, anybody, even the jury that has to deal with this, keep them all in your prayers, because I'm pretty sure that this is traumatizing for everybody. So forgive me if I harp on one thing too much. But again, the thing that I try to do is I use these stories as cautionary tales in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward, which is part of my beginning mantra of every single video. That is the point, and that is what I'm trying to continue to educate people about. So continue to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Share these videos, and let's start these conversations. And again, RIP to that baby, and pray for the mother, okay? Thank you. You guys know I have some strong opinions about politics, especially when it comes to illegal aliens in our country. While we can't call them aliens, I'm going to call them aliens because they should not be here. They don't want to do things right. They come into our country illegally. So I think that's a thing that cannot be tolerated. On top of that, why so many people are okay with people doing things illegally in our country, but yet we're held to the highest and strongest standards as citizens here. Why would we allow anybody else to come into our country and just flat out don't have to adhere to the same things that we have to adhere to, which is weird. And on top of that, not only does it affect us in an economical way, it starts to affect us in a social way and cost us the life of this baby, this beautiful angel. Beautiful little angel that reminds me so much of my adopted daughter. So shout out to her. I'm not going to give her name out or nothing like that. But this baby just seems so bright, beautiful eyes, and just full of life. And I'm going to tell y'all how she lost her life in the most ridiculous way possible. So let me give you guys a disclaimer before we go into this story. Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, news web articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. And I'm getting this story from Fox26Houston.com. So if they're listening, thank you very much for the article. Let me get these pictures back up here. You could just tell some people were just going to be special. And I think that this young baby girl was going to be special. There was an individual by the name of Joel, Joel, Enrique Gonzalez Chacin, Chacin. This fool right here, he is accused of causing a car crash that killed that 7-year-old girl who was a Klein second grade student, and her name is Ivory Smith, and severely injured her mother on December the 1st. So that was only about 3 weeks ago, depending on when you're watching this, because we're in December 2024 right now. He was arrested for intoxicated manslaughter and put on Immigration and Customs Enforcement and ICE hold. So if you guys have heard of ICE, that's what it is, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement and Removal Operations Houston launched an immigration detainer on December the 4th with the Harris County Jail on Joel Enrique Gonzalez Chacin, a 41-year-old Venezuelan national. So look, I don't want to say I dislike Venezuela or Venezuelans, but just hearing that kind of reminds me of back in the day when we were having the people that were scared of all Middle Eastern people, right? When 9/11, the attacks of the alleged Twin Tower attacks and stuff like that. Just, and we had the world believing that everybody from the Middle East, from wherever that was, why is it slipping my mind? But nonetheless, it's like everybody looked at them in fear, and now it's kind of like anybody who looks like they're from Mexico or from Venezuela, it's like you kind of almost look at them with that same fear. But nonetheless, a Venezuelan national, otherwise known as an illegal immigrant who is still not on papers and is still not in this country legally, following his arrest for intoxicated manslaughter with a vehicle. And at this time, no additional details can be released, ICE Houston said in a statement. Now, court records show that this is not the first ICE hold on him. This ain't the first time. Harris County records show that in June of 2024, earlier this year, Chacin was arrested for assaulting a family member. Now, records show that he was put on an ICE hold for that crime. He was taken in. And why do they give so much leniency to people who are here illegally? I just will never understand that. Yeah, like Afghanistan. That's who I was thinking. Like any Afghans, any people who look like they're from that area, everybody was just like, oh my God, are they terrorists? Are they terrorists? It's kind of like that fear thing, right? But nonetheless, thank you for calling that out. He was taken into custody in June, and there was immediately an ICE hold placed on him. He could not bond out, according to Andy Cahan with Crime Stoppers. Now, the felony was dropped to a misdemeanor according to records, and Chakin was sentenced to 113 days in jail after pleading guilty. And here's what you would have to also think about. They dropped it from a felony to a misdemeanor. Why are you giving him any leniency? For what? Did he deserve that? Did he earn that? I don't think he did. Because now that he didn't, now look at what happened. What did he do next? His next grand trick, same year, killing an innocent, black, beautiful life. A young queen, a young princess. This baby lost her life, and her mother almost lost her life. I want y'all to take a look at how messed up these cars were. Look at this mashed up debacle. Why? Because he wanted to get drunk and drive. And yes, he knew what that does. And no, he did not give a damn. And I'll also prove that with what he did as soon as the car crash happened. When he got out the car, he started taking pictures. I guess to what? Like prove that it wasn't his fault? What were you taking pictures for? He didn't render aid. He didn't render help. He didn't try to help nobody. Didn't call 911. Oh, that's right. He's an illegal. He don't do stuff right. So, of course, you don't expect for him to be able to do what a rational, logical person would do, right? The reason it was 113 days was because that was his time served. So basically, he pled guilty and just walked out the door because ICE hold was lifted the day he pleaded guilty. Records indicate that ICE hold was lifted the same day Chakin was released in September, just 2.5 months before he is accused of causing this deadly crash. Where is Black Lives Matter at? No outrage, no marches, huh? I agree. Thank you for calling that out. But y'all know I love to use Black Lives Matter and call the new Black Lives Matter hashtag Babies Lives Matter. So y'all can check out the t-shirts too. Get your Babies Lives Matter t-shirt. Because I've never liked what Black Lives Matter stood for. I think it's hypocritical, but that's my opinion. Why was the hold lifted when he was discharged his sentence? If he had kept that hold on him, no ifs, ands, or buts, you have a 7-year-old girl who would be alive today and a mother who was not seriously injured. The family of Ivory says that her mother, Christina, is now out of the hospital but still recovering. They provided this statement in response to new information. It's pretty long. Go to fox26houston.com to read it. I'm not going to read all of that. But ICE also kind of left what their mission statement is. I'm not going to go into that either. But here's what I also want to bring up. Let me see if I can find it here real quick. 2 things we'll talk about real quick. GoFundMe. Because why have life insurance when you can have GoFundMe? Can you guys see on my screen how much they are asking in GoFundMe? And I want y'all to remember that it's not the race. This type of thing I just dislike for all people, for all races, for anybody who does not believe in getting life insurance, period. Let me highlight something for you guys right here. Y'all see this? The person, Sharonda Collins, is asking on behalf of the mother, only I can understand to a certain extent, for $90,000. Now, considering the fact that most states, and I believe Texas is one of those, that will actually cover for the burial of children who deaths are caused by people and are charged, the state picks up that tab. They're asking for $90,000. Now, granted, there's probably a lot of medical bills, especially with the mother also coming in and out of the hospital and all of that good stuff. There very well could be a large bill behind that. But at the same time, with GoFundMe, in my opinion, I'm not against crowdfunding, especially if we're going to be sending all this money over to goddamn Ukraine and be funding their stupid ass wars where we won't even take care of our veterans here in our country while they're homeless and ain't got no place to live. And we got all these homeless people around, but yet we're sitting here housing people who are coming to this country illegally. I guess I'm okay with somebody coming up with $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 GoFundMe. I guess I'm okay with that. I guess I'm okay with people not having life insurance and say, you know what, society, I want y'all to cover my life. I don't want to cover it. Y'all cover for it. I think the family circle should, but I digress. Again, I'm not trying to get onto the family or the mother. I know that they're grieving. I get all of that. But what I'm saying is I think that you should ask for what you need and let the people donate for what it is that they want to give you. Ask for what you absolutely need. I don't think you absolutely need $90,000. You can go and read what it is that they're asking for that $90,000 for, but I digress. Let me give you guys the fair usage and then we'll get into the news videos. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. I don't know. Could y'all hear that? Because I couldn't hear that. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. Could y'all It is hear allowed that? for purposes of Because I couldn't criticism, hear it. news reporting, Hold teaching, on. and Y'all can hear parody, that? which Hold on. doesn't Let me see infringe if I of can copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. System. You can hear it? Y'all are saying y'all could hear it. I couldn't hear that. Hold on. Copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. Okay, you know what? I think I figured it out. I think my speaker turned off. Okay, I got it. I'm sorry. I just think my speaker turned off. Y'all could hear it, but I couldn't hear it. So it's all good. If y'all would, do me a favor and please click that thumbs up. Leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. Like I said, I know I don't focus on politics here, but I think it's very relevant in this case. So leave a comment in the comment section. But again, I want y'all to remember that this man caused the death of one of our beautiful, innocent, bright babies that could have grown up to become anything, right? Let's take a look at these news videos. Let's get it.
Well, 37 federal inmates who were sentenced to die for their crimes will now instead spend the rest of their life in prison. President Biden moved today to commute their sentences, an act he said was guided by his conscience. One of those inmates, Philadelphia drug kingpin Kabani Savage, convicted of the killing of 12 people, including 4 children. Those youngest victims died when Savage ordered the firebombing of the house where they lived in an act of retribution against a witness. Action News reporter Annie McCormick has details tonight and reaction.
Philadelphia's only federal death row inmate, Kabani Savage, is no longer on death row. The former North Philadelphia drug kingpin joined 37 federal death row inmates commuted by President Joe Biden today.
I'm very disappointed at Joe Biden.
The news left Tina Fox and her family in shock.
This crime is beyond violent.
Inside this North 6th Street home in 2004, many of Fox's relatives were murdered at Savage's direction. Fox's cousin, Eugene Coleman, became a federal informant against Savage. The fire killed 2 adults, including Coleman's mother, and 4 children, including an infant.
They were children. They would have been adults now, but they don't have a say. You can't hear their voice, and they were killed innocently.
Savage was convicted of those murders that he ordered from prison. He was also found guilty in 6 other murders, including a man scheduled to testify against him and rival drug dealers.
The national trend has been going away from the death penalty.
Defense attorney Fortunato Perry Jr. does not represent Kabani Savage, but said that Biden's announcement is not a surprise after seeing a major push by critics of the death penalty to abolish it nationwide. As for what this means for Savage moving forward,
That simply means that the individual will remain incarcerated with a life sentence as opposed to an effort to have him executed down the road. That's something that now can never happen.
in a statement, President Joe Biden said that America must move away from using the federal death penalty except in cases of terrorism or hate-motivated mass murder. In Center City, Annie McCormick, Channel 6, Action News.
I don't get it, especially when you use definitive wording like that, when you're talking about hate motivated, and terrorism. Actually, that's the wrong damn video. Hold on. Ooh, y'all didn't even tell me. That's the wrong video. Ooh, y'all didn't even tell me. Hold on. Wrong video. I'll have to fix that on the replay too. Goodness. I was like, wait a minute. I'm getting mad about the wrong video. Hold on. Hold on. Here we go. We'll fix it on the replay. So here we go. Here's the actual news videos.
Sherman, the suspect is a non-U.S. citizen, we're told, a Venezuelan national. And with his criminal history here in Harris County, the big question is, should he have been out of custody when this tragedy happened? Should he have even been in the U.S.? The death of 7-year-old Ivory Smith made headlines fast.
He's taken her away from us. We wasn't ready. She's 7.
On December 1st, the second grader was killed in a crash that sent her mom, the driver, to the hospital for nearly a week. Investigators saying Joel Enrique Gonzalez Chacin is to blame for running a red light while intoxicated.
If he wasn't out drinking and driving, she would be with us right now and we wouldn't be at court.
We told you how Chacin was put on an immigration hold.
Yes, so currently the bond amount is at $150,000. The reason that is he has an ICE hit, so if he is to make that bond, he has to deal with the immigration side as well. That is not likely to be made.
And now we've learned this isn't the first time he's been on an ICE hold. Records show earlier this year he was arrested for assaulting a family member.
And he was taken into custody in June. There was immediately an ICE hold placed on him. I mean, he couldn't bond out.
The felony was dropped to a misdemeanor, and he was sentenced to 113 days in jail.
And the reason it was 113 days because that was the time he had already served. So basically, he just pled guilty and walked out the door because the ICE hold was lifted the day he pled guilty.
I reached out to ICE Houston to ask why that initial hold was lifted. They told me that Chacin is a Venezuelan national and some information on his current hold, but didn't disclose anything on the June hold due to privacy regulations.
Or why was that hold lifted when he discharged his sentence? If they had kept that hold on him, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. You had a 7-year-old girl that would be alive today, and you had a mother that wouldn't be seriously injured.
And those questions still remain. Now, Ivory's mom, Christina, she is out of the hospital. She was released on Friday, but she still has a long road to recovery, according to the family. They sent me a lengthy statement tonight saying, in part, what's even more troubling is the fact that this individual was released after being detained earlier this year, only to find themselves back in custody after causing irreparable harm. Why do we have holds in place if they fail to keep dangerous individuals off the streets?
Now to the crash that killed a 7-year-old girl and injured her mom. Deputies say a drunk driver is responsible. We first told you about this story yesterday, that a father from Spring is charged in this crash. ABC 13's Chaz Miller reports from the courthouse with what else we've learned this morning.
That family told us before the hearing that they did not want Joel Gonzalez Chacin to be able to get out of jail. A judge, though, just set a bond at $150,000 under conditions including he can't drive and he has to be subjected to alcohol testing. Here is 7-year-old Ivory Smith, a second grader in Klein ISD. Her family shared this photo with us this morning, saying she was the life of the party wherever she went. The crash that took her life happened around 2:40 on Sunday morning at Bammel, North Houston and the Sam Houston Parkway. Court documents say Gonzalez Chacin was driving drunk and collided with the car carrying Ivory. Her mom, Christina, was driving. Family tells me she also needed surgery. Don't cut that. Family tells me she needed surgery, is still in the hospital, and faces a lengthy recovery. Ivory was in the back seat. Unfortunately, she died. But while grieving, Ivory's aunt said she wants to do what she can to turn this tragic situation into some kind of change.
With, this. So definitely the laws need to change. I do know drinking and driving is not, the penalties are not stiffer. That's why they get out and they do it again, and they give them a bond.
As for Ivory's mom, I was told that she starts physical therapy today and will have to relearn how to walk. In downtown, I'm Chaz Miller, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
But first, we begin with a tragic story from over the holiday weekend. Investigators say a 7-year-old girl was killed after a suspected drunk driver plowed into the car she was riding in. Good afternoon, I'm Sherman Chow. Devon Ramming joining us live from the courthouse as the suspect went before a judge this morning. So Devon, that young girl's family also in court today?
That's right, Sherman. 41-year-old Joel Gonzalez is being held on a $150,000 bond as the family of 7-year-old Ivory Smith is dealing with unimaginable grief after losing her. Now, 7-year-old Ivory Smith was killed on Sunday morning while riding in the backseat of her mother's car as they were heading home. Investigators say 41-year-old Gonzalez was intoxicated and ran through a red light, T-boning Ivory and her mother near North Bamel Road and North Sam Houston Parkway. Prosecutors say Gonzalez then got out of the car and started taking pictures of the scene without rendering any sort of aid. We spoke with Ivory's family in court this morning, who tells us they just want justice for Ivory and they want stiffer penalties for people involved in these sorts of crimes if convicted.
It's always the person that's drinking and driving that gets to walk away, and then the families are left with this. So definitely the laws need to change. We're definitely worried he could flee. He has no conscience because he got out and he didn't assist.
Again, Gonzalez's bond is set at $150,000, and should he post bond, the judge has revoked his driving privileges and he must submit to alcohol monitoring. He also has an ICE hold, or immigration custody enforcement hold, since authorities say he isn't a U.S. citizen. So if he posts bond, he would then be held in custody by ICE. Now, Gonzalez is due back in court on February 6th, and if convicted, could face anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison. Live in downtown Houston, Devon Ramming, KHOU 11 News.
All right, Devon, thank you.
Here's what I also found that was weird. How they're talking about his driving privileges. He's not a United States citizen. What driving privileges does he have if you're not even in this country legally? That doesn't make any sense. And on top of that, you're already abusing the law, and then you're just like, you know what? It's almost kind of like pulling your pants down and then just mooning everybody. Like, you know what? Y'all can all kiss him where the sun don't shine. And it's just like, and I believe that if you're talking about that all of these people that are coming into this country illegally, especially the criminals and criminal organizations, are going to make this country a better place, and they're going to take up all the jobs that we don't want to work. If you truly believe that, then I think that you are being led to the slaughter. I truly, truly believe that. I had a talk with somebody recently about that they weren't listening at all. Like, I try to make a point and they just tune it out. But I just think that that's part of the Democratic plantation mentality. Until people really, truly realize what's going on in this country, I think here's what has to happen. I think it has to hit people at home. I think it has to affect these individuals before they'll finally realize and say, you know what? This ain't a good thing. I think that people like this need to live in their backyard, need to be their neighbors, need to be taking advantage of their kids and hurting their families and selling their kids fentanyl and stuff like that. And it hits your home before you start to realize, yo, this ain't a good thing at all. It shouldn't have to take our kids dying. If I can name all of the kids, Jocelyn Nungarai, and all of these kids, and in this case, you have this baby. Beautiful little innocent little angel. I love her natural hair. Love her natural hair. This baby could have grown up to become anything. Ivory Giselle Smith, I believe, was going to have something very, very special in her life in store for us, in store for this country, and just going to be a productive, law-abiding citizen, unlike this individual. So in America, it seems like what we've done, if we've chosen this, literally, over this. Why is this more valuable than this? And that's where I believe where we are truly, truly lost. And I hope that we find our way, or I hope that pendulum that has swung so far left that it's broken on the other side, that when it comes to swinging back, then maybe we can get back in the middle and have some balance in our world, in our country. That we don't have these type of situations and think that this type of thing is okay going forward. It has to change. It has to stop. And we got to stop. We are already up against the odds as it is, whether it be food, whether it be people that look just like us, whether it be anything. We have enough stuff that we have to deal with as it is, let alone adding a whole nother criminal element into the scenario and adding these whole other X factors into the equation and expecting for it to balance out, because it's not going to. Those equations have to be removed, especially the non-law abiding ones, which is the majority of them, who are coming over and not being legal, not going through the process, not wanting to work with the process or wait for the process and just think, well, I'll make it under the cloak and I'll be okay. I'll be the ones that pass by, and I don't have to learn the language, and I don't have to learn the laws of the land, and I can continue to keep doing stuff like this, and it's okay. When are we going to wake up? When is this going to stop? And I pray that that day comes soon, okay? So to Giselle, Ivory, Giselle, R.I.P. Princess, and the people like this, he needs a life sentence in prison, but he never needs to get another opportunity to be in society anywhere ever again. Thank you guys so much for listening with an open mind as well as an open heart. Leave a comment in the comment section and let me know what you guys truly think. Let's have a productive conversation. I love you all. AFC Podcast. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much. Peace.